Have you ever noticed you forget the days when you were happy, but remember every second that broke you? You forget who laughed with you, but remember exactly who made you cry. Why does our brain do that? And is there any way to teach it to remember differently? Today, we'll explore why the brain holds on to pain tighter than joy, and how you can train it to remember the things that make you live better. You're not alone. Everyone's the same. We remember the times we were humiliated, but forget the hundreds of compliments that once warmed us. We remember the first failure, but not the countless times we overcame. And even when you're happy, just one small mistake, the brain instantly drags you back to the feeling of, I'm not enough, you're not weak. It's just that your brain is programmed that way. Scientists call it negativity bias. When you're hurt, the amygdala in your brain lights up 3 times stronger than when you're happy. It treats pain as a survival signal, something you must remember so you don't repeat it. In other words, your brain doesn't care about happiness. It only cares about survival. But in today's world, where no tigers are hiding in the bushes, that same pain becomes a chain. Ethan, 25, a man who once had many dreams and who fell very hard. After a breakup, after a failure at work, he thought he had moved on. He smiled again, went back to work, but in his head, the old memories hadn't gone anywhere. Every time a new opportunity appeared, his brain whispered, "Be careful. Last time it hurt." So he didn't dare to love, didn't dare to try, didn't dare to live honestly. He didn't know that pain didn't live in the present. It lived in memory, and memory can control the future. Imagine your memories as a backpack. Ethan walks along a long road, on his back a pack filled with glowing red stones. Each stone is a painful memory. Rejection, betrayal, failure. The more he carries, the heavier it gets. With each step, the stones clink together, clang, reminding him, be careful, don't trust again, we're the same. Every time we're afraid, every time we retreat, that's when we unknowingly add another stone to our backpack. It's not the past that holds you back. It's you, trying to carry it with you. One day, Ethan stopped walking. He saw others still smiling, still moving forward, lighter. He wondered, did they forget? But no, they had also suffered, fallen, wanted to give up. The only difference was, they learned to carry their backpack more lightly. They didn't throw away the past. They just chose to wrap it in gratitude. Each red stone slowly turned into light, and he realized no one truly forgets pain. They just learn to thank it for teaching them how to live. When Ethan began to understand, he realized the pain wasn't his fault. It was how the brain works. Inside our brain is a small area called the amygdala. It stores our reactions to fear and hurt. It reacts 3 times stronger to the negative, because for our ancestors, one mistake could mean death. Each painful memory is tagged with a survival red flag. It means, remember this, or you might not live next time. Enjoy. It doesn't trigger survival mode, so it passes by easily, fades quickly, like wind rippling across water. Pain stays longer, not because it's stronger, but because it once saved you. But you can retrain your brain. Teach it that not every memory is a threat. You can rewire it, not to erase the pain, but to remember it more gently. There's another phenomenon called the rehearsal effect. It means that every time you repeat something, you strengthen it in memory. Every time you retell the same story, every time you blame yourself, you're training your brain to remember the pain deeper. And joy, you rarely repeat it, so it fades, vanishes like smoke. In other words, you're rehearsing your pain every day, without realizing it. So try turning the direction. Rehearse the good instead. Each night, before you sleep, recall just one small thing that made you happy today. A word of thanks, a gentle glance, a peaceful breath. Repeat for 30 days. You are teaching your brain how to store joy. And then, one morning, you'll realize your happy memories are beginning to outlive the pain. Scientists call this memory reconsolidation. When you recall a memory, that memory becomes unlocked for a few brief minutes. In that moment, if you attach new emotions, understanding, gratitude, or compassion, your brain will save a new version of that memory, a lighter one. You can't erase the past, but you can change the feeling you carry when you revisit it. And that's when the old memory loses its power over you. There's a simple but beautiful truth. Pain doesn't exist to punish you. It exists to remind you that you once cared. You hurt because you once loved. You were wounded because you once believed. And that means your heart is still working. So don't try to forget. Thank the memory, because it proves you're still alive and still capable of love. Maybe you'll never forget the person who hurt you, but one day you'll remember them without trembling. You'll look back, smile, and whisper to yourself, "Thank you. Because of that, I learned to love better." Because healing isn't about forgetting. It's about accepting that the memory is part of who you are. Ethan walks back to the same road, the place that once terrified him. This time, he takes off his backpack, sets it down on the ground. The stones of memory dissolve, turning into golden particles of light, rising and blending into the dawn. He stands still and realizes he doesn't need to forget to be free. Here's the English translation for your final section. Faithful to your structure, tone, and emotional rhythm. The pauses and phrasing are kept natural for a deep, cinematic voiceover delivery. We were not made to forget. We were made to overcome. And sometimes, overcoming doesn't mean walking faster. It simply means stopping and learning how to carry pain more gently. Your memory isn't broken. It's just not yet trained the right way. You don't need to erase your past to begin again. You only need to teach your brain to remember what heals you instead of what hurts you. If you want to learn how to do that, stay with me, because every memory you choose to keep is one step closer to living lighter. Rewire your mind, one memory at a time. Subscribe, and let's retrain the brain, day by day. Memory is not a chain. If you learn to carry it with gratitude, it becomes wings.